did not go as planned. But welcome back, everyone, to Coast Comics. I'm your boy, Robert Regan, and thank you, everyone, for hanging out with us right now, man. We're going to have a great night. We're going to have a great night. We're going to. Yeah, we're going to have a great time, ladies and gentlemen, everyone in the comic community. And I'm happy that you're all here with us right now because we're going to be hanging out with a bunch of people in the comic community. Not only that, we're going to be hanging out with IDW. IDW Publishing will be in the house. So I want to say a special shout out to everyone in the chat. Did not miss it. Let me make sure my wife is not texting me because happy wife is happy life. And let me make sure that is clear. Okay. All right. So we're good, man. So thank you all once again. All right. So let's do this. And let me tell you something, guys. We got reuniting for the first time since last year. We got IDW. We got Rhoda Bones, writer, the writer. We're gonna bring him in on the show right now. Rich, what is going on, Rich? How you doing, sir?
Hey, how's it going? Doing good, man. How are you?
You know, just here.
Yeah.
Got the little nerves kicking in, but I know you from last year, man. You look good. You got a nice little haircut going on.
Oh yeah, keeping tight. Yeah, it's all good.
Nice, man. Let's bring in another person that you know this guy very well, man. You know this dude, and
Hey,
for the first time ever, man, we got Alex Cormack in the show. Thank you for hanging out with me right now. How you doing, sir?
I'm good, man. How you doing? I love your shirt. I didn't say it a minute ago, but I dig it.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for hanging out on Coast to Coast Comics, man. That's just two of them.
Yeah.
There's a third person coming on right now. I mean, you gotta have three, man. If you're gonna have the writer and the artist, you're gonna have someone that does some of the best lettering out there.
It is.
What's up, Justin?
Not a whole lot. I need a haircut. I didn't comb it after I get out of the shower, and it's crazy.
Why not, man? You did not come prepared for the hangout?
No, I didn't, because I'm on vacation, and one thing I don't do when I'm on vacation, comb my hair.
All right.
It looks like a progress shot, though. It's your hair and my hair, then you guys up top.
All right. With that being said, yo, guys, man, this is IDW Publishing in the house. They're hanging out with my son. But not only that, man, we're going to talk about many things. And I want to say thank you once again to Rich, Justin, and Alec. These guys are fantastic on what they do when it comes to writing, artwork, and their lettering. So we're going to talk about all that. But I have to bring in two fine gentlemen. Because if it wasn't for these fine gentlemen, I wouldn't know, Justin. So let's bring in right now. I have to bring in my friend, Kevin from 1-2 Comic Talk. How you doing, Kevin from 1-2 Comic Talk?
I'm doing very well, sir. And thank you, community, for having me. And I appreciate being here. The panel, thank you. I appreciate you guys being here.
All right. And I have to bring in another fine gentleman, man, because we got Dylan.
What's up, my
What's
G?
going on?
Not much, brother. Just glad to be here. Glad to be here with these this awesome panel. You know, big fans of all their work, so it's cool to be there. And Justin, he already knows. Yeah, I already know that son of a gun.
I would use the term awesome loosely when describing me.
I mean, I guess I would too. I guess.
See?
But yeah, just glad to be here as always. Thanks for inviting me, my brother.
Yeah, for sure, man. And I'm just excited to have this whole panel right now. Just you guys been rocking it out, doing great things in the comic book community. That is the panel right now, and I love you guys, and this is fucking fantastic. And I didn't even know how to start this thing. I was like thinking, is this a hangout, man? So I just want to just reach out to Rich and say, man, the success of Road of Bones, and we'll take it from there, and then we could jump into other things. So how's that been for you guys, man? You, Alec, and Birch. How was the success? How do you feel about that?
Oh, it's great. I mean, I bought a yacht. Alex bought. No, kidding. No, I mean, I don't want to speak for Alex and Justin, but I think like we were really, really happy with like the response to the book because like horror can kind of be a little tricky sometimes. Some people get grossed out, some people get like it's too bleak or whatever. But I think we put a lot of work and a lot of heart into the book, and people responded, and it's a great feeling. It's like to be like at a convention, like we were at C2E2 this year, which turned out to be the one and only comic convention this year. People were coming by the booth and just saying that they were fans. It's just been great. I'll let you guys talk a little bit.
No, I've been psyched. I mean, it's one of when Rich kind of told me like the synopsis back when this all started. Basically, I got this idea, and it's like the very pun intended bare bones of the story. I was like, listen, even if I wasn't connected to this at all, this is a book that I would go pick up. So for me, like that was successful enough. If nothing else happened just from us just making this and just for me to know the story alone, like that would have been enough. But the fact that it went out and people dug it, and like Rich said, we had people in CT2, and I was going to assume all these other shows from this year, but I didn't know. But yeah, it's been great, and I thought it was a good story from the beginning. So it's kind of one of those. Well, it's up to me to screw this up. So let's see what I can do. But how about you, Justin? What do you think?
I was just excited to have that IDW credit. Like I was like, all right, this is awesome. This is the biggest book I've ever worked on.
Yeah.
Jack.
And then I was like, and then I think Rich, you sent us an email like last August. It was like, hey, you guys want to do a signing at the IDW booth at New York Comic Con? And I was like, oh wow, this is real. This is real.
Yeah.
It's like I've made it.
That was fun.
Now to kind of touch on that, have you noticed that with the community of horror, does it seem to you that it's not only growing, but how would you perceive the community as a whole in horror?
Yeah.
I would first start with you, Rich.
I think it's growing. I think horror is one of those things where, not only in comics but in movies and stuff like that. I think people are, getting into it. There's always been this kind of like, I guess something like a little bit like subversive or like renegade about horror, especially in movies, because it's like, like if you wanted to like, let's say you just wanted to make a movie, it's hard to like go out in your backyard and make Star Wars or something, right? But like you can go in your backyard and make a horror movie, So it's really, I think, accessible to a lot of people, both as like creators and fans. So I think that's why it's like it's rapidly growing. There's just like something about it that's like common to everybody. Like you might like one thing, you might not like another thing, but like everybody knows what it's like to be scared. Everyone knows what it's like to be creeped out. So it's like it's one of those like universal things that I think appeals to like everybody.
Yeah, right now it's definitely a good time to be a horror fan. I mean, there's so much good stuff.
Oh man,
I mean,
especially with
like
comics.
a decade ago, even. I mean, stuff was good then, but I mean, it's just there's so much good stuff out there. And I mean, yeah, if you're a horror fan, I mean, this is think about some of the movies that have come out. I mean, we just watched Crawl last night. My wife and I. Have you guys seen that? The alligator movie that came out.
The movie Crawl.
Yeah, did you see that?
That old one, right?
No, it just came out like last summer. It's a new movie.
Really?
Anyway, so I thought it was gonna be just garbage. I thought it was just gonna be like a creature feature, like alligator. It was actually really good. It had no business in the world being that good. And but I mean, I mean, horror too. Like something about like when you're growing up with like this is a kind of it's a genre that you have to get to a certain age to enjoy. I mean. I have a 3-year-old. I've shown him Star Wars. I've shown him Indiana Jones, and highly edited. I didn't show him like the faces melting off anything like that. But I was just like, hey, look, he's jumping on a truck. It's not cool. But I mean, action movies, animated, all this stuff. Basically everything except for horror, he's going to be able to like grow up with until like a certain point. He's got to get to that level, and. I don't know. Some of it might be a little thing with horror. It's like almost like an achievement. And I know like a lot of guys that are horror fans, and that's how some of the things they feel like they'll sit down and watch something like terror, like horrific, like really, like I Spit on Your Grave or Cannibal Holocaust, or really like things that shouldn't have been made. But they're like, oh, I gotta watch this. I just need to like tackle this thing, or like to prove something to myself, even that type of thing. But and also for my sake, it's fun to draw monsters. Like the Domovic. That guy was a blast to draw. I would draw him all day.
That's pretty cool, man.
And CSRO is coming up. I mean, that's going to be that's going to be really good.
That it is. That it is.
And that is where we at right now, man. We got IDW in the house, man. We got fantastic writer, artists, and creators and lettering people in the house. And I give you guys a special shout out because you guys, what you do for the comic community. We pick up your books, we read them, and we do reviews. I know I do. I know Kevin does. I know Dylan does. And it's also what you guys do. But there is, a new book that's supposed to drop. But, I don't know if we want to talk about it now or save it for later or just, we could do a little something here and there. But there is something. There is something out there in the deep sea. Something in the sea.
Mm-hmm. Sea of Colonies.
It is, you go back. It's pretty cool because if you guys in the community read Road of Bones, that takes a place in the architect. It's kind of historical too. But now you can take this to a different level. Now we're gonna go up here to this, and so. Rich, man, I'm pretty comfortable with talking to you because, we hung up before. Well, when you reach out to these fine gentlemen about Sea of Sorrows, who was the first one to be like, what the hell? What's going through your head, man?
Well, I mean, I think when we finished Road of Bones, we were always kind of hoping we'd be able to do more stories together because we like working together. I love Alex and Justin. We're like, well-oiled machine, just knocking out awesome comics. So it was just sort of like, if Road of Bones does well, it'll be easier to do stuff. If not, might have to go back to the drawing board. But luckily, you know, did well. When we were talking about what our next thing was going to be, we didn't want to do like that thing where, you know, it's like the sequel where like you explain everything that happened in the first one and it's lame, and you know, like I always hated that when they do that with like horror movies. It's like I don't want to know like why Michael Myers is the way he is. Like I just want to like, you know, watch him attack people, you know. So we were just like kind of sitting down and saying like, well, what did we love about Road of Bones, and you know, where we landed was like we loved, you know, the horror, the history, the supernatural part of it, and like that whole kind of play between like horrible people and horrible monsters, and kind of going back and forth like which one's worse, right? So I think that's kind of where we started from. We're like thinking about like what the next story was going to be, and I'll let Alex talk about how we settled on the ocean, because that's his deal.
So yeah, so
Are you guys flying with the panel like this, or you want solo shot? Just make it short. You okay like this?
I always take this because it reminds me of like the '89 Batman with Jack Nicholson coming on doing the whole side swipe thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm fine with this if you guys are.
Okay.
But yeah, right around the time we were wrapping up Road of Bones, Rich and I were kind of talking a little bit like, all right, what's next? And I told him that I was one of the things I love about Road of Bones is there was settings that I always wanted to do in a comic, and one of them was something always in the snow. And just because I'm from Massachusetts, and so you know, 9 months of the year it's snow everywhere. Then you know the other day it's just waiting, and and you know, most of the books you don't really see too much like winter scenes or snow scenes, and if they do, it's very light. And I was like, no, it's got to be real snow up to your knees, where it's wet, it sucks, it's cold, and it just you know, and like their faces are just getting torn up just because it's just winter and all stuff. So I was trying to do something in the snow and wintertime like that, and I was telling them, any other place I'd always want to do was like something on the ocean, because we would go to Cape Cod all the time as kids, and you know, I love being by the ocean. So like, yeah, anything on the ocean that'd be great. And Rich was like, I'll see what I can do. And then, yeah. So, I
love both those settings.
Then we got in touch with Justin, and we were like, "Hey, man, we're getting the band back together. We need you." And
it was just like the Blues Brothers. We had to use a maitre d'. We busted in the restaurant. It was great.
Yep. You're like, hey, getting the band back together, and I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Now, what I like about the story that you told is you tied in so many different elements. You know, you tied in it's seemingly a mythological element along with a time period era element, along with so many. There's complexity there, but what I really love is you didn't overthink it. You didn't get over complex. You were able to go ahead and deliver very concise messages without making the reader feeling like they're an idiot, you know, and it's easy to follow, and it allows the person to be immersed in the story by letting the art kind of take over there too. So the two complement one another very well. Now, what I also noticed, throw you in there, Justin, it's not easy to make when you're dealing with a palette of a lot of dark blues and blacks and stuff. It's not easy to make those letters pop. So kudos, man. That was pretty cool.
Well, thank you. When I got the first issue, my whole thing was, okay, this is the biggest book I've ever worked on. Don't screw it up.
Who said? Hey, Justin, who said that? Was that Rich? And be like, don't screw it up.
Oh no, that's what I was telling myself.
Oh, okay.
I think we both told you too. like separate emails. Like,
Yeah, just so you know, I haven't talked to Rich about this, but don't screw it up. And then Rich says, just so you know, I haven't talked to Alex about this, but don't screw it up.
He's like good cop, bad cop. Hey man, like I love it, but Alex is just he's not happy with this page.
No, no.
Like you gotta do it.
Come on, Justin.
Oh, sorry. Like I cut out. I have no idea what was just said about me.
Perfect.
Moving on.
Moving on. Anyway, yeah, Justin agreed with the letter. He's awesome.
Hey, is it I forget the release date for issue 1, but I'd heard that issue 2 might not release for like till 2021. Is that true?
Well, issue 1 was supposed to come out in May, but Diamond was closed at the time,
Right.
so they pulled it back. It's issue 1's not out. We sent you guys a like a sneak preview kind of. That's like we're not exactly sure when it's going to come out, but it should be either towards the end of the year, maybe early next year. Like I think from IDW's perspective, like they want to give the market a little bit of a chance to come back. They don't want to like flood everything with like a ton of product, because that's how stuff gets lost in the shuffle. So I think what they're going to do is we're talking to them, and they're talking amongst themselves, figuring out when the best time to bring it back is going to be. But it's definitely going to be coming out. It's not canceled. It's just a question of finding the right time in the window there. But hopefully it'll be this fall. I think probably the latest will be like into next year. But
hey, fall would be perfect. A nice little underwater horror story for fall.
That one, not at all, right?
Well, whatever they decided, I'm sure is going to be the right thing, because it does need to heat up a little bit. But it's definitely a book we want to do good, because man, I'd love to see you guys come back for a trilogy. Oh man, I don't know what you guys would do, but Alex is going to have to think of another setting that he always wanted to do, and then we'll revolve it around that, I guess.
We're gonna let Justin pick the next one.
Yeah, how about space? Let's do it in space.
Sure, why not?
Oh God, give me 1 second right now. I want to acknowledge the panel right now, man. We got Rich Dewey. We got Alex Cormack. I didn't think that was gonna happen. We got Justin Birch. He's been watching cornhole just like myself on ESPN. There's no damn sports. That's what we've been watching lately. And of course, man, hanging out with 1-2 Comic Talk Dylan in the house. Yo, I want to say IDW guys, man, you rock. Thank you so much for hanging out with us right now with the comic community, man. We appreciate everything you do. We thank you so much for your artwork, your lettering, and your writing. It goes far beyond, well, beyond. I'm just, it is an honor, man. I met Rich, and meet Rich, but I met him through our interview last year on Lord of Bones. But your beard was a lot longer, so you chopped it off. But I'm happy that you arranged this, and we're so happy. The community is happy. I'm happy. Yo, Dylan, we got 1-2. I could keep rambling as much as I want, but I'll stop that right now, man.
Let's see who's in the chat, my guy.
Yeah. A bunch of people in the house. We thank you all for hanging out with us right now. This is just a hangout. We're hanging out with some people in the comic book industry, in the comic book community. And there goes Rich. He did this last year, man. He was walking around, and
it's like I'm on my porch, and I'm noticing it's like getting a little bit dark. So I'm like, it's like all the way back here. It's like I'm gonna be like in the shadows. So
it works. We're out here for writing horror books,
And with that being said, yo, guys, man, if you have any questions, and we got plenty of questions, we're still talking about Sea of Sorrows, man. Holy crap! I don't know, man. It's gonna be off the rails. I don't know, man. But I'm looking at the chat. Let's talk about this damn. Let's talk about this damn book, man.
All right. What do you? Yeah, hit us with some questions. What do you guys?
Actually, one of the things I want to bring up is the setting and the time era. You know, you set this thing in, like you said, in a complete, totally different environment. One, we're in the ocean. Two, it's a very nasty environment, and then you take individuals that you briefly touch on that all have issues, and they're obviously all running away from whatever issues that they're having, but they find a camaraderie amongst one another to go ahead and go after this treasure per se. So what I find unique in the writing is that, again, as I mentioned before, it's so direct. It doesn't convolute the direction of the storyline. So what I'm really getting at is the difference between that your approach in the Road of Bones and the approach of this. I mean, how do you differentiate such a approach and styles from one book to another when they're kind of so seemingly close in timeline from one written to the other? Meaning,
you mean like how
the contrast of one writing style to the other? You know what I mean? Road of Bones is pretty thick to me in comparison to how you approach this one. You know, you approach it different.
Yeah, I mean, I think, you know, part of it is like, you know, the kind of cast of characters you're working with, you know, and like Road of Bones was like, you know, there were a couple of other characters in issue one, but for the most part, it's like three guys like out, you know, out in the wilderness. So I think like when I write stuff, it's like I try to get into my characters' heads a little bit, you know, and so Road of Bones is a lot about kind of like just this sort of like isolation and being out there with like people you know, being in a life and death situation with like people you don't trust, you know, and like the only thing that's important is survival. And I think, you know, with Sea of Sorrows, the reason that they're out there is a little bit different. It's for, you know, material gain. And
exactly,
you know, I think when you start with the, you know, where they're coming from, and when you start with like trying to see things through their viewpoint, it's like the storytelling just kind of comes naturally from that. For me, you know, I don't know. It's like
right.
Kevin always.
Now
Kevin gets wordy.
Yeah. Sorry.
My man's in the Hollywood business, man. So he's on point with his shit.
Well, I just noticed your approach was so different between the two stories. You know what I mean?
It
and the time
is.
that you did it, it's a trip. You know, it's not many people can do that. It's a definite gear change.
You also don't want to like do the same thing over again. You know, it's like
yeah.
We wanted it to have like similar like feel and stuff, but you know, we wanted it to be its own thing. Like, you know, like when we were talking about like Alex, you had that great line where you were like, it's like a sequel in the way that like Hot Fuzz is like a sequel to Shaun of the Dead. It's like, you know, they're like there's lines you can draw between them, but they're each their own thing, you know.
Yeah, that's how I always thought. You know, these two together, yes. Sit right there. It's Shaun and Hot Fuzz. It's the same crew. It's the same, you know, like everybody making and all that type of thing. But I mean, both the stories have nothing to do with each other. You know what I mean?
I definitely feel like both of those stories, though, like they're different. But Road of Bones and Sea of Sorrows, each story is just so unique. Like you know, horror definitely is back. I'm a huge horror fan. Like I tell these guys all the time, like it's probably horror and comics, and like you mash them together, and it's just my favorite thing. Like, but I could see both of them definitely being like a movie or something one day, just because they feel so different than the horror comic books you always read. You know, these kind of feel a little more real like, but sometimes they have that little twist to it, but they feel more grounded in a way. And man, you just never see a underwater horror story. And as soon as that's all I needed to hear was underwater horror story, and I'm like, I'm in. Like, see it. And then you put you guys on it because I loved Road of Bones, and you know, just to get that same team back together, because I'm like a nut for Alex Cormac's artwork, like from what he's done on Sync and you know Road of Bones. It's just your writing goes perfect with Alex's freaking artwork. And then you know you got Justin in there killing it.
I'm just trying not to screw it up. That's all I'm doing.
Hey, you're doing a great job.
Yeah.
So Justin, how do you write the letters without them getting wet?
Wait, say it again.
How do I do it without making them get wet?
Yeah, how do you write those underwater bubbles without them getting
I
wet?
know, man. You're sneaking those bubbles in there.
These are trade secrets.
How do you do that?
I don't know. I was just like, they're underwater. It's got to look different. I got to do something.
No, I mean, and that actually, when I was looking at that, I was like, you know what? That was one of the things I was actually now really paying attention to, is how lettering is done. You know, how are they trying to reflect the story? So as I'm reading it underwater, I'm like, wow, how's he keeping the letters from not getting soaked?
Are you actually reading it underwater, like in your bathtub? Like,
That's
Yeah, I'm actually working underwater as I do it, so it's already wet to start with.
right. Now that makes sense, because I took a class in underwater basket weaving, and that took a while to master. So I get it.
Hey man, he lettered Road of Bones in the snow, so he's got to go that extra mile and do this one under the water.
Did I do that? Did I do that in the winter? I don't even remember when I lettered that one. Was it cold out? I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't remember.
It was
cold throughout the whole damn book. So
You know,
Yeah.
one of my favorite things about Road of Bones, because we drew it. I drew it. It was freezing out. We just moved to Vermont, and like everything was snow everywhere. But by the time it actually came out in the stores, and I went out to a shop and bought a copy. It was like 90 degrees because it was the middle of summer, and I was like sitting there sweating, and I'm looking at these poor guys in the snow. I'm like, oh, that looks so nice. Like, take me there. Oh, this is great.
Yeah, those guys in the story though, they didn't want to be stuck in that snow.
Yeah.
They were dying.
That's the one thing I'll say about the transition from Road of Bones to Sea of Sorrows is that in Road of Bones you feel cold. And this one you feel alone. Like you really do feel alone.
So
Yeah.
like, Alex, you draw like the underwater stuff. It's almost like it almost is like outer space. It's like
Yeah.
down there and like scary things floating, and like you got this one amazing page with where like he's like walking along the bottom and like a shark comes out.
Dude, yes.
That pulled the hell out of me.
Yeah.
Hey, man.
and I was not expecting a shark. I mean, I always see the bubbles, and I was like,
Yeah.
all right, that's cool. And that thing just comes out of the, from the left side. I was like,
I mean, for my sake, I was thinking, oh, that's how it would be. You down there, you can't, you're that deep. There's no light anywhere except for what you got in here, like in front of you. And how far does that go? And what direction? So, and it's not like right now. It's 360. They're everywhere. And so it would just make sense. The moment it's gonna pop up, like saying, "How you doing?" And it's one way. But those underwater scenes are a blast to draw.
Every time I see that shark panel, because I'm like, I had it pulled up just now too. I'm like, man, like I just keep staring at it. I'm like, it's so incredible. I'm like, can we get like a cover with the shark or something?
Oh,
Or, or instead give us a second print with the shark on it or something.
yeah,
Or
it's,
just do a variant for 2 with the shark. It's crazy.
I feel like anybody who's like a horror fan or just, growing up watching Jaws, I think it's
Oh
everybody.
yeah.
Like, I want to do a shark somewhere and something. I was like,
Yeah.
it's like that's not even the worst thing is down there. That shark.
Yeah.
Pretty friendly.
It definitely is really cool. I mean, I love how it's just black too. I mean, because a lot of people they don't realize that once you get down that low, it's black. I mean, and you can't see anything. So I can. It definitely kind of does remind you of space, but once you start reading it, you're like, man, this is just eerie. It's down in the pitch black ocean, and just by himself too in there. Like you said, I get what you mean by you'll just feel alone, but it's kind of cool to see how he thinks that's just like, he's like, that's where I'm at my most calmness.
Yeah,
Like,
you think about it, you're kind of like, this man, this is where you're like.
Man, I know. It would be cool to see like a little flashback. I don't want to get in. I get so excited with it. I don't want to spoil nothing, but it'd be cool to see like a flashback, from like the one guy. I'd like to see you do a flashback, like you know what I'm saying. I don't want to say it because I don't know if that's spoiling it. You know what I'm saying? Like what the guy.
Well, actually, can I ask Rich? Hey, could you give us a little synopsis so we know exactly the parameters that we can talk about this?
We're saying, yeah.
Because you guys, like,
People
I don't
know
want
what
to
we're talking
spoil it.
about.
You gotta get this book.
All right, so Sea of Sorrows takes place like kind of in the years after World War I, so like the 20s, and we're on a boat where like there's a crew of like salvage divers, and they get hired to go because they hear there's a sunken submarine U-boat that has a cargo full of gold that was supposed to make it across the ocean, never did, got sunk. So they head out there to go find it, and there's a lot of intrigue because the guy that hired them is not telling them the whole story. The guy who owns the boat is in debt to a mobster, so the mobster sent along people on the crew to make sure that once he does get the gold, he doesn't just like set sail for Cuba or something. And just sort of everybody has their own personal reason for being there. And I think, but they all just sort of think that they're going out there to get this gold, and then they run into a lot more that they bargained for. So I think that sums it up pretty good, right?
That's gonna make it a lot more tense too.
Yeah.
Now you say that, I definitely was kind of piecing together that each character has their own, maybe their own shady background or their own motive, like you said, for them to be there. So that's gonna get real tense at one point. But yeah, man.
Especially if they end up hooking up with what they're looking for. That's what I'm looking forward to, is if they actually find what they're really looking for, because we know how that is whenever people kind of get their hands on gold or treasure. People start ripping each other apart really quick.
It's a happy ending. They all away. They open up a bunch of charities. It's lovely.
Yeah.
Well, the cool thing is you threw other elements in there, aside from the obvious of if they end up find the treasure. There's other things that really are just as much of a threat as themselves.
Yeah.
Out there, which is really interesting.
Thanks.
Good.
Is it going to be 4 or 5 issues? 4, just like Road of Bones, right?
No, this one's going to be 5 issues.
Okay. I thought so.
Yeah, we felt like I think with Road of Bones, like I said, it's like at the end of the day, like most of it is like 3 guys walking through the wilderness. So we were just like,
it's a really messed up version of Lord of the Rings.
we could do like one more issue of them like walking through the snow, but we're kind of risking people getting bored with that. So with Sea of Sorrows, we have a lot more characters. We have a lot more kind of, I guess, intrigue. So warrant that extra issue, and just sort of taking our time a little bit and not having everything be bang bang bang, like tension all the time. So
Right.
You know what? I was just thinking about something. Excuse me, guys. All right, so we're talking about Sea of Sorrows. So we're in the ocean out here, man. But Road of Bones, it was a bunch of snow and a bunch of redness, bunch of blood, man. That blood was everywhere. That was, there was covers. I got covers that were sent out to me. Now I'm looking at these books.
I know.
I was like, holy, there it is. Like,
When that was exclusive for, what was that, New York?
yeah,
Yeah, am I actually right? Because when I found out Justin was on this book, I was like, man, Rod, I need one of these, man. So I get it signed by the whole creative team one day.
I told Dylan, I said, I'll send you a book. I'm not selling it. Don't flip it. I'll send it to
No,
you.
I'd never do that.
And there it is, man. We
Yeah,
don't do
That puppy's
things like
in my-
that.
that
Man.
puppy's in my Road of Bones box.
Hey, check this out. I'll show this. I know so the knife that he has in his hand, that's my pocket knife. So
Oh,
here's
swear.
the real one. So there it is. Yep. So if you look at that picture, it's basically, it's right on.
Yeah.
Ah,
He's the,
Oh, snap.
ah,
yeah.
that's awesome.
But that's just a handprint's worth of blood right there. Imagine that when you open the whole story.
Number 3 especially. Yeah, it gets
Oh my
yeah.
god. This is actually number 3 too.
that's,
Yeah.
yeah.
I forgot.
When it all went from white to red.
Yes, yeah, I know.
But there's going to be plenty of blood in Sea of Sorrows too. It's just sort of diluted by the water.
Oh,
There.
Um,
Think of the little Kittner kid in Jaws when he goes down. Think of all the blood that pops up with him.
oh yeah.
Well said, sir. Well said. I didn't think about
So,
that.
Alex, how much fun is this to draw and all this ocean and water stuff? I mean, how much is that? I mean, is that just a blast to do? I mean, because most times that's not the art of where we depict, scenes at. So, what is it like to draw on water?
To the
Because you
draw,
color it too, don't you?
yeah.
That's what I thought. So.
This one, I got a friend of mine's doing the flats. Mark Mulaney. He's doing the flats for the book, and then I'm coming in and doing all the, I'll call it the special features, like the special effects, like the lighting, the shading, any splatter that you see, anything like that. And especially at this one, there's a lot of little tricks, almost like an airbrush look that I'm kind of bringing to some of it, doing it all underwater. So, I mean, it's just, it's just fun. It's just doing it a little different and having the blood underwater too, opposed to it's splatting on the snow like in Road of Bones. Not to give anything away, but there's a part where there's some blood underwater, and it's more like, all right, I gotta draw this more like a kind of a cloud coming in, more than it would just be in the atmosphere. They just float around with the seaweed and bubbles and whatever else is around. It's just liquid and liquid. So it's just a matter of just watch a lot of horror movies and see what looks good. Watch a lot of Jaws over and over again.
What would you say is harder, the water or the snow?
Probably the water.
Follow-up question: which one hurts your hand more?
What's that?
Which one hurts your hand more?
Yep. Well, so when it's on the snow, right? With that, you can do some splatter, and that can look really cool with it. And when you're looking at the book, when you see it looks like blood splatter, that's really taking a paintbrush and doing this, and then throwing it in the computer and making it look all nice and perfecting it in a way. And so I mean, that's just kind of those are tricks that I've learned a long time ago, back on Sync number 1, even before that. And but then doing it underwater, I can't think of anything, at least not on the top of my head, where I had somebody like blooded like or anything like that underwater. So it's just kind of trying to figure out what it looked like and drawing it in trial or error and just doing it.
Yeah. I mean, Justin, like you were like, I remember
There he is.
you were talking about like underwater, above water, like one of the things we were talking about was how you were going to do the speech underwater. Like is it going to have bubbles or not? Like maybe you could talk a little bit about like your process there, like how you were, like what were you thinking? Like when you saw like all this stuff was like going on in like a diving suit, like underwater, like how did you kind of come up with what you did?
Well, I feel like I kind of shot myself in the foot to begin with, because if you go back and you look at that last issue of Road of Bones, there's a scene that takes place when they're in a blizzard, and I'm like, okay, well, I basically copied Darren Bennett's blizzard style that he did on that Swamp Thing annual issue.
Mm-hmm.
And conveniently, Darren made a video on how he did it, and I was like, thanks, Darren. So I felt like because I used, I made the balloons part of the elements that were around them, that I felt like I had to carry that over to this as well. So in my head, I'm thinking, okay, so he's underwater, he's saying something, he's saying it out loud, but he's saying it out loud underwater. What's that going to look like? What's that supposed to sound like? So I just tried to do something that I thought would look okay.
I like it.
I did.
There we are. I dug it. Well done.
So the point I'm trying to make is
I did. Yeah, great. That's amazing.
There was a thought process there at some point that may have just gone who knows where.
Damn, that's a great question. I was like, never thought about that one. So that was like awesome, dude.
But yeah, I remember seeing
Yeah.
I thought just the little bubbles he put on that was awesome. And I mean, you guys understand how hard lettering is. I mean, when I first started, I tried lettering and I thought it was fine. It's so hard. It's so hard to make it look. So.
It's like you think it's easy, when you because I tried too, and like it's like when I letter something, like it's okay, but it's nowhere near like what Justin can do or like
you guys are giving me too much credit.
Doing.
Giving me too much credit.
I don't know. I think there's a reason why every time I look up, it seems that you're doing lettering on someone else's book. I think there's a reason for that.
The reason is because I can meet deadlines.
That's a damn good reason, actually.
That's the biggest trick that with just in comics. The biggest trick is to meet deadlines and not be a dick.
Yeah,
you do those two things.
That's career advice for you. Like,
yeah. I'm looking forward to doing that like a graduation speech one day. Don't be a dick and get it on time. Thanks.
Yeah. Justin, like, they're like, can you meet the deadline, Justin? Like, yeah. He's like, as long as I'm getting paid, I'll meet that deadline. You don't care.
It's one of those. It's one of those things where it's like, oh, can you meet this deadline? By the way, it's for an IDW credit. I'm like, yes, I can meet that deadline.
Who's the next credit you need now? What's the next publishing company? Valiant, and what was the other one?
Yeah, at the beginning of the year, my goals or New Year's resolutions were to get I think I wanted a Boom credit and Image credit or a Valiant credit. I think those were the three that I wanted. I have gotten 0 so far. Instead, I got DC, Vault, and Scout. So it's a fair trade-off.
good trade.
Yeah.
That doesn't
Speaking of
mean
IDW,
I still
you guys
want
tell us about
Boom.
Hey, you'll get in there with Boom, though. Boom is doing some really good stuff, man. I can see them
you guys
picking
talk
you
about
up
IDW?
for a title.
What?
You know how it's like to work with IDW, and you know, can you guys talk about that?
Yeah, I mean, I think IDW as like people to work with, it's been a great experience. You know, like Bobby, our editor, Bobby Curnow, is just like a super nice guy. He's always there to answer any questions and keep us on track. And like that kind of goes all the way up. Like the you know, we mainly work with like the editorial department, like guys like Chris Ryle, John Barber, like they're all just like really nice and open. We've never had like any kind of like static with anybody there, I don't think. So, you know, like I honestly, like, yeah, I would say they're a great company to work with.
Yeah.
As a creator.
I've heard they let their artists and, you know, writers kind of move a little more freely. They're not really up their neck to be like, oh, you know, trying to make you do like jump certain ropes, you know, and you guys can kind of just tell the story you want to tell.
Well, I think it's different. Like, it's different if you're like on a book like where it's like let's say like the only other one I have experience with like in this one is like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yeah.
So like on TMNT book, there's a little more oversight because, you know, because IDW doesn't own it, Nickelodeon owns it. So everything you do, you've got to go to Nickelodeon and they got to say, yeah, we like this. No, we don't like that. You know. So there is a little bit more of that, but when it's a creator-owned book like this one, you know, when it's like our own story, they're very, very, you know, supportive of like us telling it the way we want to tell it.
Yeah.
What we want to do with it, like, you know, even stuff that you know, we're like kind of second guessing. Like, I think there was like one time with Road to Bones where it's like Alex, I was like, okay, we want to say fuck. Can we say fuck here? You know, like is that okay?
Good.
So like, you know, sent an email to Bobby. He's like, hey, is it okay if we say fuck a lot? And then he's like, yeah, we don't care.
Perfect.
You know, sorry if I just.
You're good, dude. You're good.
Yeah, you're good.
But you know, like I'm just saying, it's like they are very you know, supportive of us, like as a team. I think, I don't know, unless they're like sending Alex and Justin emails behind my back, being like cracking the whip or something. I don't know.
They're telling us to drop you. It's rude.
They're telling you not to screw it up. That's what.
I'm just curious.
Screw it up.
So you guys been hanging out, you know, you did Sea of Sorrows right now. That's out there. And we're looking forward to that release date. But then Road to Bones and you guys been together probably longer than that. So who reached out to who and be like, yo man, let's work together. Let's do something. Let's do something. Pretty sure you was.
Which way am I pointing here?
I don't know. You tell me.
Well, I mean, Rich and I have known each other for, like I said, it's like the Batman thing. So one of these.
Exactly.
But how long have we known each other? We've known each other for years.
It's got to be at least like 7 or 8 years at this time, right?
Yeah, we knew we were friends with all the Comic Tribe guys, and so we met at like New York Comic Con with them.
Yeah.
And, so like every year in New York, we just see each other and hang out. And yeah, it's when you're like, hey, I got a story, you want to do it? And he told me some. I was like, yeah, so let's do it. Let's get started right now. And Justin, when did we meet? Do you remember?
When you guys met.
Last year? You still there?
Yeah, sorry, I'm cutting in and out. I didn't hear the question.
It always
We
does
were
that.
just talking about how we all met. I'm trying to remember when we met. Was it just like last year or before that?
I met Rich at a Heroes Con, but I don't remember what year it was. It was like
I think it was like maybe 2016 or 17. It was one of those. Because Gutter
Someone
Magic
little
was out at that point, but I didn't have much else out. I think it might have been 2017 actually.
Wow.
Yeah, so I saw that you were going to be there, and I just walked up to the table and was kind of like, "Hey, you do Comics Experience. I did Comics Experience. Here's my portfolio."
And it was good. I was very impressed. I was impressed by your portfolio, and also impressed that you cared that what I thought of your portfolio. I had like one book out, and I was just like, all right, yeah. But I was like, wow, this guy wants to work with me. It's like, but you know, I think like even back then, I could see you knew what you were doing. So, and then I was doing like I did like a Kickstarter of some short stories for one of my other books called Gutter Magic. So it was called Tales from the Gutter, and I was like, oh yeah, Justin, like you know, I need somebody to do a few things. So that's when I learned Justin could hit deadlines, which we all know is very important. But you know, it was like it was good. It was just like I was like, I need somebody, and I was looking through Justin's stuff, and we talked about it. He was down to do it, and then that experience went so smoothly that I was just like, yeah, like you know, dude's in my permanent Rolodex. Whenever I have like you know, new projects, I'm all, like you're always like top of my list of people to get in contact with.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
I want to say real
That's
quick,
what
man.
I
I got Rich, Alec, and Justin. All the links are description below, man. I got the whole portfolio, all that good stuff. You guys need to check them out right now. Just click away, and just all
What?
all your
Just check
social
it out after the show.
Sorry.
No, I was messing with you saying check it out after the show. Don't check it out right now.
Yeah.
I always do that, man. I got a bad
I
habit.
know, you know I'm messing with you. You got that damn leg.
Yeah,
Yeah, the delay's killing us.
a little bit.
All good. All good.
Yeah.
Hey, K Titus, Apex. Appreciate you guys being here.
Rod, was there any questions in the chat that you saw?
Oh, we can take a few. Let's see who has a question right now. Apex comments. Just relax, man. Apex can't go off the chart right now. But I want to, again, man, I want to say thank you so much for these fine gentlemen, Rich, Alec. These are the triple threat of Sea of Swords. These are the triple threat of Lord of Bones, man. Thank you all for hanging out with us right now on Coast to Coast Comics. We, when I say we, not myself, but the panel, the community, we really do appreciate your stuff
Oh, thanks for
hanging
having
out
me.
with us right now.
Yeah.
So, do you guys have a tentative date for when the first issue of Sea of Sorrows will drop?
Not right now, but so I think September solicits just came out for IDW and most companies, so it's not in there. So it's not going to be September. Not going to. So you know, we'll see what happens when like October, November, December roll around.
It's
I think
coming.
it's
But,
coming. It's coming. It's coming. And you know, like we said, like more likely than not this end of this year, but you know, if it winds up being early 2021, that's what it is. It's fine. Like from our perspective, it's just like sort of, you know, how much we're gonna have done by the time because we've been working the whole time. You know, like it's not like we stopped. We're right now in the middle of doing HQ3.
Yeah.
So
Oh, good.
you know, like
So by the time issue 1 comes out, you probably have all 5 done.
yeah. Got
That'd be awesome.
got some nice covers. We're
Yeah.
doing retailer and center covers this time around. So
Oh, cool.
Yeah, there's some really cool variant covers coming out too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got some good. We got
So
some good
through the whole arc, are you going to offer an A and B cover through the whole arc and possibly other covers?
I think right now the plan is to do a standard cover. Each issue's gonna have a standard cover and a 1 in 10 retailer incentive.
Ooh,
And and then we're kicking around the possibility of doing like other specialized covers too. Like, but we're still kind of planning that.
I noticed IDW usually does main cover and then like a 1 in 10 for a lot of their books. Like Mountainhead, I got one of Cormac's variants for issue 3, the Mountainhead. That's another good horror book.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, Mountainhead's looking good.
Yeah. Well, we got the connection to Mountainhead through John Lee's, on Sync, and John and I have been for a long time. So probably almost like maybe even a couple of years more than before I met you, Alex. But but yeah. So like the Mountainhead, like the whole team on there is great. But like we've talked about like what's worked for them, and I'm also friendly with the guys who do. You guys know that book Canto?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Those guys too. So we just kind of talk about like what they're doing, what what will be good for us. So
yeah, one of my favorite things at the end of Road of Bones, getting that look at the last issue. I see the page right after our last page is a big ad for Mountainhead.
Yeah.
So it was kind of like, oh, we're taking over. This is great.
Yeah, I was thinking too, I was like, man, IDW's got some good horror books, with Road of Bones, Mountainhead, and now Sea of Sorrows, and they probably got a couple of it. They got some more that I just can't think of, but there was man, my mind just went blank.
I mean, it's kind of funny because IDW's got like a really good history with horror. They did like a lot of food, 30 Days of Night was one of their first big hits, and then so it's like it's like kind of funny, like you almost feel like you're carrying the torch a little bit, you know what I mean?
Heck yeah.
So like you gotta like you gotta make something that you'd be like not ashamed to have sitting next to Lock and Key on like a shelf, on like IDW shelf, So,
oh yeah.
Yeah.
So I feel like every time IDW even gets brought up in the community, they start talking about like how are they make money, or are they going bankrupt? I mean, I don't know about all that, the details, but I feel like with books like, Road of Bones, Mountainhead, Canto, and Sea of Sorrows, and then they got TMNT, the Transformers. I feel like that they should be holding on pretty good. They, especially with books like yours that should, like you said, carry the torch for them.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like we know any of that stuff either. Like we're not employees.
I swear, I just feel like everyone. I always see because somebody had mentioned. I think that was a question. How do you think that they'll continue to keep making money?
If I had to kind of say one thing is that like that stuff doesn't like filter down to us in terms of like nobody's ever said to us like, hey, times are rough, so we're gonna have to cut your what we're paying you, or cut like the you guys only can do 4 issues or anything like that. So we're kind of like sheltered from that, I think, a bit as creators. But I think how are they going to make money is by putting out good comics that people want to buy. So hopefully, like, that's what we're trying to do with Sea of Sorrows is be one of those comics, So that's like all we could really do, and all we could really say is just it's like that's like how all these companies make money is by like delivering the goods. So
right.
That's what we're trying to do. So
it's a good idea for you guys to get back on IDW and Sea of Sorrows too, because that's definitely one
good idea
people
for
shouldn't
you guys
sleep
to
on.
be back together. The work is the same crew. You know what I mean? It obviously it worked in the past, so it's nice for you guys to get back together and do this project together too.
Yeah. and it's like it's like the more you do stuff with like a place, the more you kind of get to know like the people there, like even like the people that do like the social media and like people who are work the conventions and like in charge of like doing the booth, and it's like it's just sort of like you develop like a working relationship with them, and things just things just wind up working better because you know each other and you know how to work with each other.
You guys should get together like yearly to do like a horror book for like or put it out around fall. You know what I mean? Like do the old John Carpenter and but with comics and try to put out a new horror book every year. That would be cool.
I think we're gonna do it as long as they let us do it, right? So
Yeah.
I don't want to speak.
Might as well.
Yeah, so like, why don't you, enough of this? Don't you want to do something else? Until that,
Alex is like, no blood in this one. We're doing,
I want to do a romantic comedy. Damn it!
yeah,
Rom-com.
Yeah.
Sign me up.
we're gonna do.
Hey, Perry,
We'll be taking over. We'll be taking over the Care Bears, and
You take over Care Bears. Really? No.
And My Little Pony. Perfect.
I'll take it.
Man.
I do have to say,
You could throw the ponies into the sea and see what happens. But, that'd be
I do have to
another story.
at San Diego that year at the IDW booth, they had a gigantic Care Bear. Like I'm talking like I'm a big guy. This thing was like 8 feet tall and like almost as wide. It was like a gigantic costume, and it was pretty horrifying. So, I don't know. Like I've had nightmares like that, being chased by like giant boots.
Chasing.
I would love a piece of that MLP money.
Yeah. Yeah,
now they got the MLP Transformers run coming. They're really dipping in.
Mm-hmm.
I can't
All right,
believe
guys.
I don't know how they're gonna pull that one off. My Little Pony and Transformers. That one's gonna be great.
Never. Those are two rabid fan bases. Never underestimate the power of My Little Pony fans or Transformer fans.
Oh man, I know it. I'm just like, how is this gonna work? But I'm sure it's gonna be. Those 1 in 10s are gonna sell out.
Dylan's just saying that. He's getting cover A and B of the whole run. You know that.
He buys everything.
You didn't have to broadcast it.
All right, ladies and gents, man, everyone around the world that is watching us right now, man. This is Coast to Coast Comics IDW special, man. We're hanging out right now with the gang, man. This is the gang. We got Rich, the last name Rich. I always say do it. So is it do it?
I'm gonna give you the trick. Just pretend the O is not there, and just pretend it's DUEK. Duek.
Do it.
That's right.
Right now, we get
I don't
do
think
it
go.
in the house, man.
And it took me like 30 years to figure out that trick because
I was like,
you can just tell people, you know what I mean? But yeah.
all weekend I'm like, I'm gonna botch this name. So last year I did the same thing. He did not correct me. And it was like, Rich is this cool dude, man. And right now I gotta say thank you so much to this guy Alec Cormack, man. He is a fantastic artist. All right, guys. If you've never seen his shit before, go back and watch For the Bones. He was hanging out with Rich. And not only that, man, we got a bunch of stuff going on. We got Sea of Sorrows. We were talking about that all throughout the night. More importantly, this guy right now, Justin, he is a fantastic lettering person. And when I say lettering, it's not like this. That's shit right there. But go watch this stuff.
Let's use the term fantastic loosely.
Exactly.
Sure.
Exactly.
Justin, you know you can't wait to come back. You were like, I've never received so many compliments in my life, let alone a day.
And especially
You gotta
quick
make me fair.
a quick shout out, man, to Dylan and Kevin. You guys introduced me to Justin Birch, and I'm so happy to actually meet you guys. And Alec and Rich, I'm actually more happy that you guys arranged all this for making this thing happen. You guys are fantastic. IDW is rocking. You guys put out great art, great stories, and the artwork is fantastic, man. There's no words, dude. I had a sketch pad written there with notes. It's all right there. I want to say thank you, everyone in the chat. I didn't expect Alex to come on the show. So,
Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
And thank you, everybody, for coming and watching.
Yeah, man.
A lot of fun.
so
That was a pleasure. Awesome, guys.
Yeah.
I guess.
Great to get a panel on too. I've always wanted to do that. You know, it's hard to work everyone's schedule out where you can get even one guy sometimes, let alone the whole creative team.
Yeah,
Yeah.
all worked out great, right? So,
I'm
Yeah.
looking to.
Well, this is a good time for us. Like everybody's at home anyway. It's like,
yeah, Rich reached out to me. I think it was Tuesday. He was like, "Yeah, we're ready for Saturday." I was like, "Oh shit! I did not know it was going to happen that fast." And because I was waiting for you, Alex. We were waiting for you. And I was like, all right, fine.
This interview thing is like, yeah, sure. When do you want to do it? Whenever you're sure. I don't know. Whenever you want to do it. Great. It was easy. I was going back like, yeah, we'll do it Saturday. Great.
Yeah, man. Especially, man, thank you. You guys, man. Once again, I can't. It's a hangout. It's not even an interview. I'm just happy to. There's no words for this hangout with you guys, man. I really do appreciate your time. You guys probably want to hang out and do other stuff besides hanging out with Roderican and Kevin and Dylan. But you know what? You took the time to hang out with us. I want to go outside, play some cornhole, but there's no lights outside. You know? Me and Justin watching cornhole on ESPN. We've been watching it, man. He actually screenshot me a picture. You did it. You sent me a picture.
You were like, yeah, I'm watching cornhole, and I was just like, click.
Yeah. You know you watching it, man.
Yo, when they take that cornhole away too, people are gonna be like what? Like I was just getting into it, man.
All right.
Just trying to get a championship.
I'm ready to go, man. That's my Saturday, man.
Give me the cornhole, man. I don't have the personalities.
Like, we don't even want football back. We just want cornhole. More cornhole.
Cornhole Super Bowl.
Oh
Can
man,
you imagine that?
you can see it.
Halftime for cornhole? How does it all work?
Oh,
They'd be
man.
so wasted by halftime.
Do they have like pitch like chuckers or whatever? I don't even know what you call them. Like how do they do this? Backyard rules where your basic rule is you gotta have a beer in one hand.
Yeah. I think we were saying that too. We're like every time you watch it, there's never not a guy that has a beer in one hand and then the hacky sack in the other.
Yeah, right.
It's 1 and 1. Yeah. There's no way you can't do one without the other.
And I've always wondered what was the bigger trick, not to spill the beer or actually to try to make it in the hole. I'm not quite certain which one they grade. You know,
There was actually a guy holding on to it like a Yeti, and he just kept throwing his name, but he still had his little Yeti. Oh, just to see that. But with that being said, yo, man, I'm gonna let you guys. I'll give you guys a few seconds, a few minutes. Let's go to Rich. Let the people know if you want to, just say something about whatever you got going on. Here you go, sir. And thank you for hanging out with us right now, Coast to Coast Comics.
Yeah, no, thank you guys for having us. Like I said, it's always great to talk to people who are fans of the book, and we're happy to talk to you guys' audience, and just really happy to be here. So if you guys want to keep up to date with what's going on with Sea of Sorrows and Gutter Magic and the other stuff that I write, you can follow me on Twitter at rduek, spelled just like it is here. Same thing on Instagram. And I also have a newsletter. If you go to rduek.com, there's like a little newsletter tab. And I try to send that out maybe once a month or so. And what I like to do there is I talk about stuff I'm doing, but I also like to talk about tips about writing and being in the comics business, because I have a lot of friends that are, and fans that are aspiring writers themselves, and I just trying to help as much as I can. So yeah, that's where you can find me. Got Sea of Sorrows coming out, got Gutter Magic coming out with Source Point Press. So, check my stuff out. Thanks.
Yep. Sir. And actually, I have their links in the description below. All you gotta do is click. I got their portfolio links. You click those on, and you click those links. I got their Twitter links. Follow them on Twitter. So let's check on right now. Alex, what you got going on? Let the people know.
But yeah, like Mitch was saying, it's a pleasure to be on here. It's great talking to you guys. I'm glad you guys dig the book. As far as follow me on things, I'm on Twitter at AlexCormack4. As I like to say, when I signed up, I was the fourth guy named Alex Cormack on there. So there's no other reason. That's it. So it's AlexCormack4. Instagram, Alex Cormack Illustrator. And if anybody's still even on Facebook, I think I'm on there too. Look for this mug, and that'll be. Yes, as far as other books, Sea of Sorrows coming out. Always doing something with Sync. And I got some other books I got a book called Crossing, which I'm in middle of number 5 right now. I got a new book called Duel that'll be coming out. Another book called Charlie, which is just wrapping up, and then 5 other things that I can't talk about yet, but I'll tell you about some other day.
Awesome.
I'm waiting for Sync Volume 3, bro. I'm waiting.
we got Sync related thing in between, but that's all I can say. But
I spoke to John, and he mentioned he's got something in between, so I'm pumped.
Amazing. And right now, let's give the platform to my brother from Pennsylvania. He is a big fan of hockey, but we're not talking about hockey right now. We'll talk about, let the people know what you got going on, Justin.
So you can follow me on Twitter at Justin Birch. I can't remember my own Instagram name, so sorry.
Justin Birch letters.
Yeah, there might be some underscores in there. I don't remember. As far as books coming up, this week is my first book with Vault, Bleed Them Dry. So if you're a fan of futuristic ninja vampires, this is the book for you. Plus a whole other bunch of books that I can't even remember at this point. It's a week-by-week basis.
Awesome, man.
What's it called again?
Bleed Them Dry.
Bleed Them Dry?
Bleed Them Dry. Elliot. I have a hard time pronouncing Elliot's last name.
Well, isn't it like Ray Hall or something?
Yeah.
Ray Hall.
Yeah, Ellie Rahal the writer. I can't remember who the artist is. That's on me. That's my fault.
It's not me.
Yeah, I'm
Dope book.
picking that up next week too. I'm excited to check that out.
All right, guys, that is it. This is Coast to Coast Comics hanging out with IDW Publishing. Man, we got Rich, Alec, Justin. These guys are the masterminds behind plenty books out there in the world, and they wrote the poems. Got your soul. Who, or not who, but what's next in their minds? But we got to say hello and bye to Kevin and Want to Comic Talk. And Dylan, I'll give you a shot right now. Let the people know. Here you go.
Hey, it's Kevin, 1-2 Comic Talk. We'll be doing our regular Margarita Monday, where I'll be inviting artists and creators that come and hang out with me at our virtual bar. And hopefully we'll be doing another edition of Thespian Theater Thursday. I'm hoping this Thursday, but it might be next, of Agrasuko. And yes, there'll be a regular Friday of the Cocktails and Comics. But I just want to throw out there, I have basically by tomorrow, I will have the Indie 1-2 Comic Talk Indie box completed. So I will be announcing more than likely somewhere between Monday to Friday the availability of 5 boxes to be received by whoever is the first 5 to contact me. So I appreciate you, community, and we're going to try to get you some more independent writers and creators out there to you directly.
Awesome. Well said, sir. Well said. And right now, we'll end it with Dylan. Dylan, I'm happy that you was able to hang out on this hangout show. And not, if it wasn't for you, like I said, man, I would not know Justin. So I'm gonna give you the platform right now and let people know what you got going on.
Hey,
Oh shit, not me. That's the wrong person, not me.
take it for me. Take it for me. But hey, man, nothing to thank me for, man. I mean, if I hadn't been so cool, if everyone at Mad Cave wasn't so cool with me, man, I probably would have never met Justin. But I'm glad that he became friends with you so that we could do this awesome stream. I thank everyone in the chat for hanging with us. I thank you, Rich, Alex, and Justin, as always, for coming and hanging out with us. And I really look forward to CSROs. If you're not subbed to me, it's Dylan Comics, all social media outlets. And yeah, man, make sure you have that bell notification hit, because a lot of times I'm just going live random. So, we're just always hanging out, man, talking comic books. So probably talking about some books this week. We got a big week coming. So a lot of good books to talk about, just like my man Justin said. So I'll be definitely talking about Bleed and Dry too. So that's about it, my man.
Nice, man. Nice. All right. Thank you all for hanging out. Once again, we've been over an hour. I don't want to take too much of your time. And everyone, be safe out there. Yo, panel members, IDW Publishing, thank you so much for hanging out with myself and the gang. With that being said, I'm your boy, Rod Rican. Take care. And don't go nowhere, guys.